Hi everyone, it's me again, Kirsty. I hope you're safe and well, and I hope that you can find some peace and comfort today, despite everything that's going on in the world right now, which is crazy and devastating. So I do hope that you can find some calm moments for yourself today where you can just feel a little more relaxed. In this video, you are going to see me set up my bullet journal for February. My March video is already under construction. I've already filmed it and I'm going to edit it as soon as I can. But for now, let me talk you through the things that I did for my February setup. So because February is usually associated with love and Valentine's Day, I wanted to do something that doesn't scream love and hearts and pink to me, but I still wanted to include something that does, but just not something that's so very obvious as hearts might do or roses. And so I did something that I've never done in my bullet journal before, which was to base my theme on a book that I read. So last year I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, and it has immediately grown to be one of my absolute favorite books that I have ever read in my life. It is the most heart-wrenching, beautiful love story I've ever read, and such an amazing fantasy book at that. And I thought it would be the ideal opportunity for me to fangirl around a little bit and to get into more details of the characters that I could identify with so well. And so I thought it would be cool to draw them. So I don't want to go into too much detail with the plot in this video, because obviously I want to give everyone who wants to the chance to read the book without any spoilers. But I will be drawing different characters in this video, so yeah, maybe if you've already read the books, then you might understand all of the different details, like why that guy has weird hands, for example. But basically, the one thing that I can tell you about the plot is this quote that you see right now. It just says, "Once upon a time, an angel and a devil fell in love. It did not end well." And that is basically the blurb for the book already. The book starts off with that sentence or with that quote. It's the first thing you read as soon as you open it up. And that's about as much as I'm going to reveal about it. So you saw me set up my cover page already, where I added the name of the month in a very bold font. And then I just went ahead and drew. I had so much fun drawing this month. And so the first thing that came to my mind that I knew I had to draw was the specific moment of two very important characters for the plot. And I just tried to replicate this very sweet moment as best as I could. Next up, you see me create my monthly log. It is essentially the same that I did for my January setup. I already mentioned back then that I always use very big calendars because that's just the way I'm vibing and it works perfectly for me. And I added the title of February in German again on the right-hand side. On the left hand, that's definitely the left-hand side. And on the right, I'm going to add a little decoration where I draw another character. Two characters, in fact. And basically everything in this setup is black and white. There is only one accent color that you're going to see in a bit that I'm going to add to one of the drawings on the right. And yeah, other than that, I wanted to keep everything in black and white. I did that once before in my journal. Well, probably several times, but I remember that I did a similar thing last year in February where I did essentially the same thing. It was just a black and white theme and I had one accent color and it was a dark pink, which looked really, really cool with the black. And since I loved the aesthetics of it and it just looked so neat and clean, I really wanted to do that again, just with another accent color. So the two characters that I draw here, you can see on the top that's a part raven and part, oh my goodness, a bat, half raven, half bat creature. And that has to do with the fact that chimeras are a thing in that universe of the book. So there's a couple of hybrid creatures or hybrid animals that are part animal and part human. And this creature on the top is one of those. It's a chimera that is half raven and half bat, as I already said, which is why its wings look a little odd. And the person on the bottom is the main character of the book, and it's Karu. She's a very talented young artist. I think she's 17-year-old at the beginning of the book, and she goes to art school, which is why there's a little pencil in her hair. There's a couple of different details that I added into this drawing that I won't explain into too much detail because I don't want to spoil anything. I said that already. But one of the things that you see right now is that I add the accent color, which is blue. And yes, Karu has blue hair. Naturally. Just like that. You'll understand why if you read the books and why she has naturally blue hair. So naturally, when I thought of doing this as a theme, I knew the accent color for this black and white theme had to be blue, because, I mean, don't we all want to have naturally blue or violet or I don't know what kind of colorful hair? Yeah, there you can see the bat wings up close a little better again. That's Kishmish, by the way, the chimera that is half bird and half bat. And there you get to see a few more of the details that I added to Karu's illustration, with the little pencil in her hair and the tattoos and her boots, all that stuff. The next page that I'm going to set up is my trackers page, and that's where I'm going to show you that tattoo on Karu's hand a little more close, well, closed up, a little bigger. So that's my trackers page. For the last video and for my January setup, I did the mini calendar layout for my habits tracker. Because I wanted to switch things up a little bit again, I changed it for this month, and it's just a vertical one. So on the left, you can see me flicking back and forth so that I know what the different habits were that I tracked. And then this is just a vertical layout where I put a dot beneath every little icon that I drew for the day that I actually did a certain habit. And on the right hand side, everything stayed the same for my sleep and my mood tracker. And then I just added some decorations to the top, because the top was the easiest place to add decorations. All around it would have just looked way too full, and it's already full as it is as soon as it will be filled out. And this is where I could play with things a little more. And so that's why I decided to only do big letters for, well, H for habits, and then S for sleep, and M for mood. And then I added the word itself on top of the big letters again, so that you know what the letters actually stand for. And then that is where you can see me go into a little more detail with those hamzas, those, well, eyes, in essence, that Karu has tattooed on her palms of her hands. Yeah, don't know if there's a lot more to say about this. I don't know if you've already seen other videos and other bullet journal things that show you how the basic bullet journal method works. This is just one of the pages that I use for basic tracking of things that happen during the month. So I have different habits that I track. I mentioned in my last video, I always track when I practice the violin. A fun fact, the violin column for this tracker stayed almost completely empty because I was just not motivated enough to practice this month. But here's to March. I already practiced a little more this month than I did the past month. There's a couple of other habits that I track, like my hydration, if I drank enough water in a day, if I spent time outside, stuff like that. And yeah, I track my sleep just to see when I go to bed and when I get up every morning, just because it's actually a good thing if you go to bed at the same time each day and get up at the same time each day. And then my mood, I just put a dot below the smiley that represents how I felt. And I think you saw this just briefly. I used my blue pen to fill this tracker out because it stayed black and white for the time being. But I used the blue as an accent color to fill out the tracker itself so that you still have blue somewhere on that page. The next page I'm setting up is my notes page, or my brain dump, which is always pretty much empty. Yes, my hair was in the way, so you can't see me draw all of the teeth on the right-hand side, which play an important role in the plot. So it only made sense to add them to a theme that is all about this book. I had fun drawing them, which made me completely forget about the fact that I actually filmed it, and I went too close to the page with my head so that I could actually see what I was doing, because these are tiny little fellas. That's where I fixed a little mistake. Ta-da! Whiteout is your best friend, or a white gel pen in this case. So even if I lost some footage due to the fact that my head was in the way, you can now see the teeth that I drew on the right page in this close-up. The last spread that I'm going to set up in this video is my weekly page. For the last video, you saw me do a layout that spreads over 4 different pages. For this one, I only did my favorite kind of weekly, which is just a 1-page weekly, and then I will use the next 3 pages, so the one on the right and the next double spread for writing diary, and I will just use up as much space for each day as I actually need. And it's not in columns as I did for the last spread in January, but just this 1 page for all of my tasks, and there's this small column on the left where you can see a mini calendar and a little section for all of the things that I need to do this week that are not dedicated to a specific day, and a small section for all of the things or tasks that I need to remember for the week after that. And the rest of the page is just dedicated to to-do lists, and to-do lists that have to do with a specific day. So if I need to get something done on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, then this task will go to the right side of this page and not to the left column. That is just basically a mini brain dump of tasks where I just add the things I need to remember and that I know I want to get done at some point during the week. The little illustration I did on this page is from one of my absolute favorite characters. It's also a chimera, so he's part animal and part human, and the animal part of this character is a goat. I think he's also part... I can't even remember. I think lion or something? I would have to lie. I can't remember exactly. But the most important feature is that he's half goat, so he has a goat face. And I love it. He has little horns. Well, big horns, in fact. But anyway, his name is Brimstone, and he is such a heartwarming character. I love him to pieces, and if you end up reading the books, or if you have, I'm sure you'll love him just as much as I did. All that was left to do was to add the first letters of each day of the week, so that there are different sections where I can add all of the tasks that I want to get done on a specific day. And yes, I think that is already pretty much it for this video again. I made the time lapses a little quicker this time, just because all of the illustrations that I did you could actually already see from my pencil lines beforehand, and all I did in this video was trace them. But anyway, here's the final flip through. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that even if it's late and it's actually already March, you still enjoyed watching me draw and do some stuff in my journal, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!